livestock housing, sheep and goat housing, prepared by Joharto Tamontok and Moharis Ali. Sheep and goats housing. Sheep and goats are important sources of milk and meat. Both readily adapt to a wide range of climates and available feed supplies. They also have similar housing requirements and will therefore be treated together. The management system depends primarily on the availability and use of land. 3 systems of production are practiced. These are mainly subsistence system, extensive system, and intensive system. Subsistence system, in which a few animals are tethered during the day and put into a protective shelter at night. In this type of system, the goats or sheep can freely roam around a field in the day and go to their protective shelters during the night. Extensive system, in which the flock or herd grazes over large areas of marginal land unsuitable for agriculture. The flock is usually shut into a yard at night. These systems are practiced extensively in East Africa. This method of raising goats and sheep, where they are primarily left to graze and forage on natural pastures with minimal human intervention. This system relies on the natural environment to provide the majority of the goats' nutritional and shelter needs, rather than on supplemental feeding or intensive housing. Intensive system, in which the animals are confined to yards and shelters, and feed is brought to the flock. This system offers the greatest protection for the flock from both predators and parasites. Although it may make the best use of limited land resources, this system also increases labor and the capital investment required for facilities. This management is a method where goats are kept in controlled environments with high levels of human intervention to maximize productivity and efficiency. This approach often involves significant investments in infrastructure, feeding, healthcare, and breeding to optimize the growth, health, and productivity of the goats. Housing. Housing in tropical and semi-tropical regions should be kept to a minimum, except for the more intensive systems of production. In the arid tropics, no protection other than natural shade is required. In humid climates, a simple thatched shelter will provide shade and protection from excessive rain. As sheep and goats do not tolerate mud well, yards and shelters should be built only on well-drained ground. Figure 10.54 shows a sheep-goat house for 100 animals. Unless predators are a serious problem, gum poles can be substituted for the brick walls. If thatching is difficult to obtain, a lower pitch roof of galvanized steel is feasible, but some insulation under the roof is desirable. Where housing facilities are provided, in addition to water, feed troughs, and permanent partitions, it will be necessary to provide temporary panels to help divide and handle the flock when necessary, in order to carry out such operations as disease treatment, docking, shearing, milking, and lambing. In temperate climates and at high altitudes, a more substantial structure may be needed. An open front building facing north provides wind protection and a maximum of sunshine. A rammed earth floor with a slope of 150 towards the open front is recommended. A concrete apron sloped 125 and extending from 1.2 meters inside to 2.4 meters outside will help maintain clean conditions in the barn. In areas of high rainfall, it may be desirable to keep the animals off the ground. Stilted houses with a slatted floor raised 1-1.5 meters above the ground to facilitate cleaning and the collection of dung and urine. Table 10.18 recommended floor and trough space for sheep and goats in intensive production relative to live weight. Slats should be 70 to 100 millimeter wide, 25 to 30 millimeter thick, and laid with 25 millimeter spaces. Individual lambing pens should be 1.5 to 2.2 meters squared, depending on the weight of the iwi and number of expected lambs. A feed trough should be 0.3 to 0.4 meters deep front to back, and have a 0.5 to 0.5 to 0.6 meter high front wall facing the feed alley. Figures 10.55 and 10.56. Milking can be facilitated by providing a platform along the feeding fence where the animals can stand while being milked from behind. Such a platform should be 0.8 meters deep and elevated 0.35 to 0.5 meters above the floor where the milker stands. Parasite control. A dipping tank and crush are essential in the layout for a large flock or for a community facility for the use of many smallholders. A dipping tank and crush are facilities used in goat management to control parasites and manage the handling of goats for various procedures such as health checks, vaccinations, and treatments. Figure 10.57, a typical dipping tank in areas where the bont tick is a problem. Simple walk-through tanks or foot baths may be needed. Figure 10.58 shows plans for a foot bath. Thank you for watching.